Hey there, everybody. Give me a sec. There we go. All right, let me get settled down in my spot. How are you? I am Robin Link. I'm normally not broadcasting at night. What is it? Tonight's Tuesday night. Usually I'm here with you on Wednesday morning with your energy forecast for the week, but I'm not going to be home. So I have your energy forecast for May 18th to May 24th. So let's see what the angels have to say about the week and what kind of insights they have. Awesome. All right, so the energy for the upcoming week is the angel of meditation. So what's that saying? Hey, my mighty soul. Lord help me if I don't get distracted, right? So yeah, meditation is the theme for the upcoming week. And I think that's really great because we're coming out of Mercury retrograde, and it was a tough one for a lot of people. And whether you want to talk about it being Mercury retrograde or not, we've just really had a bunch of really tough weeks. So I like that we have a quiet week coming up ahead of us. I think we could really use it. I know I can use it. So it really is about you taking the time to get quiet and get still and allow for the stillness and to not confuse stillness with boredom. A lot of people, because we're so used to going, and action, and we're taught that if we sit still, we're lazy and all that kind of stuff. We feel like if we get quiet and if we're meditating and if we're trying to chill, that we're being lazy and we're not being productive. But the bottom line is, by meditating, you are allowing yourself to quiet. You are getting into that calm space, which actually feeds your soul, feeds your mind, and does allow you to be more productive and more inspired, which happens to be the energy that is supporting us this week, the angel of inspiration, right? Because, the deal is meditation comes in so many different ways, right? We can just do the regular kind like we do in yoga and whatever, and, Om and that whole 9 yards. And obviously I haven't meditated yet today, right? I'm a little thrown off because it's the end of the day and, hey, it's a different schedule. But that can be really good too. That can actually inspire new ideas too, just getting off of your regular schedule. But meditation shows up in so many different ways. It can be when you garden, it can be when you paint, it can be, believe it or not, doing the laundry. That can be a form of meditation because it's just kind of this repetitive kind of thing, especially when you're folding the laundry. If your husband and your kids and the dogs aren't like jumping all over the place, instead of making it boring, if you just get really present with folding the laundry and just putting it, in its spot and doing its thing, it becomes a meditation, because meditation is really about getting present. And meditation is about getting present without getting like lost in your grocery list, right? And so when you're not sitting there going, oh, I'm being quiet, wait, let me think of 12,000 things, all of a sudden you get those little snippets of inspiration and you get those little aha moments, and ideas get to seep in, and they may not be in your conscious awareness, but all of a sudden a day or two later some kind of a challenge is going to show up and you'll be like, oh, I know how to fix this. Because you got the download while you were quiet. You got the download while you were meditating. You allowed that inspiration to come through. So it's really cool. But now, what's the energy that is challenging you this week? And that's interesting because it's creativity. And, when you think about it, inspiration and creativity usually go hand in hand. But in this case, the creativity that they're talking about is when you have those inspired ideas. The how the how you would create it, the how you would put it together is not going to be evident right away. So don't, how are they saying this? Don't sit there and think that, oh, okay, I've got this idea, but I don't know how to do it, so I'm just going to throw it away, right? Just hold on to the idea. Write it down, journal about it. It's okay. I love when they're reminding me of things I'm not doing. Um, but, start journaling about the ideas that you get. Yeah, journal it. Do some automatic writing. And so if you're not familiar with automatic writing, it's literally, it's kind of a brain dump kind of thing. You meditate beforehand and try to get quiet. And then you just put your pen to paper and just write whatever words come out. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. The point is to just do it because there's something in there that needs to be said. And sometimes automatic writing can just be a form of meditation. So just allow this to happen this week, okay? And your ahas are going to come in those, oh, did you see Angel walking across? He's on video. There he is. Your moments, your aha moments are going to come in during your moments of motivation. So it's interesting because when, we start out, the theme is meditation, and yet the ahas are in motivation. But the thing is, the meditation plus the inspiration and not forcing the creativity is actually what's going to motivate you when the action steps do come in. So most of you already know this already, but I'm just going to remind you. When you ask the universe a question, the information doesn't always just show up right then and there, and when you sit down and you meditate because you're having a problem and you want an answer to the problem, the information does not always show up during the meditation, but however, later on, you may get inspired. The inspiration may hit. So allow that stuff to happen. Don't judge yourself if the things aren't showing up right away. And so, okay. It's interesting because the energy is very different today. I don't know if it's because it's nighttime. I don't know if it's because I worked all day. I have no idea. But the energy is really very interesting, and so the messages are coming through a little different than how I'm used to. So let me just reiterate. We got meditation is the theme of the week. Inspiration is where you're going to, is the energy that's helping you along. Creativity is where you're going to feel a little bit challenged. Just be an allowance and know that the creative spark will show up. And then motivation is where your ahas are going to happen, okay? So, what I'm really being led to talk to you about, usually some kind of a teaching shows up when I'm doing the actual reading, but they're kind of reminding me about something that's happening for me right now. And if it's happening for me, then I know it's happening for a lot of other people. So here's the deal. I'm working on manifesting some pretty big goals right now. And so they require certain actions, right? The thing is, I don't want to take all the actions. It's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it that way. And so I'm being reminded that I'm asking for things to happen, and I'm asking for them to come into being quickly and easily. And I spend more time saying no to the inspired actions that show up. So I've started to say yes to some of them now, or well, to most of them. I mean, unless they're just really making me nauseous that I just can't do it. But, like, if just as an example, I shared on Facebook last night that I'm not doing readings anymore unless you're one of my coaching clients. I just don't love doing standalone readings. And at like 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, I got a call from a restaurant in the area where they sell dinners, dinner and a reading, and they ended up getting extra reservations, more than they expected. I have not read there for the past year. And when they called, I was sitting there at lunch and I'm like, I don't do readings anymore. I don't do readings anymore. I don't do readings anymore. Is this the next inspired action? Yes, it is. All right, I'll go. And that's kind of how I went last night. I had so much fun. I really, really did. I met a lot of really, really interesting people. The guy who was there for Stump the Psychic, he had tears in his eyes by the time I was done. So I was really, really happy about that. I got to meet a romance novel author, writer. Love romance novels. And so many different other opportunities showed up. Even just through speaking about her, I have some possibilities for some future engagements. Yeah, it is really cool, Mind, Body, Soul. It's very, very cool. But the point of it is, you really want to sit there when you're when you're trying to create something and when you're trying to manifest something, you really want to look at what are you more devoted to and committed to. Is it getting, what your goal is? Is it reaching your goal, or is it how you reach your goal? So, I mean, readings don't normally support me in building my business. However, meeting this one particular woman, and I don't know if it's going to happen, but meeting this one particular woman, the writer, and the possible opportunity that she may be presenting, to me, can build my business without it being readings and stuff like that. So you really, I get filled up with it, because I'm so used to being like, I don't want to do this anymore. This doesn't resonate with me anymore. But think about it. Before you immediately say no to an opportunity because you don't do it anymore and you're done with that, check into it a little deeper. Really check into it a little deeper. I mean, I have a 3-day-a-week day job. And I do it. I didn't want to do it, but I was led to it. It was like, Robin, you need to get out there. You need to get with people again. Get with people who have problems and don't connect with spirit and don't know about the law of attraction and don't believe that they can create their future, because you're losing your edge. You're losing, your connection with what's known as what we call the real world, right? Because there's more of them than there are of us. And it's really interesting because my boss there has led a very interesting life. And she has a real open outlook on the world. And she's very successful in what she does. And just from being around her, I'm picking up more of a business mindset that I've gotten. Yeah, don't wrestle with it, mind, body, soul. Don't wrestle with it. Stop wrestling with it. Because when the opportunity shows up, there's something there for you. So what are you going in for? If I went into this, into the 3-day-a-week thing because I wanted to make tons of money, right? Well, the contract, again, feel into it, mind, body, soul. You pull some cards on it. Get your ego out of the way. And I don't mean ego in a bad way. Just get your Your personality out of the way, right? Your desire. For me, I call it stubbornness, man. Right? Yeah. I was like, I'm being stubborn. I got a text from somebody else, and I know I'm completely going off here, but I got a text from somebody else today also with another opportunity. I waited a good half an hour before I answered him because it was like I wanted to teach him a lesson and I was not going to say yes and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, by saying yes, it actually will help get me one step closer. So by being in this office, which takes up a lot of my time, as well, I'm with this woman who's got a success mindset. She's got a very successful mindset. She has been very, very, very successful in her business and operating basically as an independent contractor. She did it all on her own. And it's really interesting because she's also sharing sales training in the office that very much correlates to what we talk about in the spiritual world. And I mean, they do gratitude statements and they talk about it is done, thank you that I have the X amount of clients by the end of the month, X amount of paying clients by the end of the month. It's done, it is done, it is done. Thank you. Right? They're doing all this. So it's really, really cool to see how this sales training that they're taking is so similar to what we're all doing. And so, yeah, it may take up time and it may take up energy, right? But it may not look the way you want it to look. But ask yourself, is there something more here? When I went into this particular job, I did not want one. I really did not want a job. And I'm learning so much there that I wouldn't learn hadn't I taken it. So move the initial thing out of the way. So mind, body, soul, you're talking about, okay, it's a contract and there's time involved and stuff like that. Well, can it be negotiated? Can it be negotiated? And also, I mean, maybe that time frame is there to help you in some way. It could be there to hinder you in some way as well, but I know you know how to get your own guidance. So yeah, well, it's already towards the end of retrograde for sure. So but still, just retrograde is the time to do that inner thinking. That. But I gotta tell you guys, we have got to stop being spiritual spoiled brats. I know you'll figure it out, my body, soul. I know. We just do. We have gotten so damn sick and tired, first of all, of being on the other end of the spectrum where we've had no say in our future, no say in contracts. We didn't think about half the time negotiating, and if we thought about negotiating, it was usually negotiating just on money. We didn't think about negotiating about what's required for us at a job, where we're going to work, how it's going to be, how much of this is mine, how much of this is yours. Like, there's just so much more. And sometimes it can be just the fact that we're going to negotiate reminds us or reteaches us how to negotiate. You can negotiate with life. You can compromise with life. And compromise isn't always a bad word. You can compromise on your terms. But seriously, we have turned into a bunch of spiritual spoiled brats. I want it my way. and I only want it my way. I want $1 million. What did David used to say? He still says it. He wants a couple $1 million to just like fall out of the sky, a satchel of a couple million unmarked dollars to just fall out of the sky right in front of him. There's nobody around, and he gets to take it, and that's it. He's done. He doesn't have to work anymore. Kind of like the lottery mentality. And that's all. It's cool. There's nothing wrong with it. But, in the meantime, you got to be outside. You got to be, you got to get out there so that maybe if it's going to fall out of the sky, you're on the road, instead of sitting behind the computer. And the other thing is, though, like, what else is possible, right? So how else can that couple of $1 million come to you that is as easy as winning the lottery, as easy as the satchel dropping out of the sky in front of you? So what else is around, right? And so last night, just as that example goes, last night for me, I made a couple of bucks, made a contact, and the way I see it, I got paid to network. How does it get any easier? So all of us, we have to get out of our own little, again, that spoiled brat mindset of, I want it this way. And allow for the expansive thinking and to stop making assumptions about when opportunities show up, about what those opportunities mean. And some things are going to show up for you guys that really, really, really are just not, what you need to do. Right? They're just really not going to be supportive, and they're really just not going to be helpful. And if you have a really hard time, if you're unable to separate your emotions enough to pull a couple of cards and get a clear reading, then have a reading done. Or talk to a friend and see if you can throw some ideas back and forth and get some perspective. Sometimes we really are just too attached to the how and the why and the outcome and the this and the that to get a clear perspective. But it's really important to do that. When time allows, it's really important to get a different perspective when you're just not sure of what's showing up and how it's showing up. And of course, as an example, if let's say it is a job or something like that, or let's say it's to do a psychic party and you get a really bad vibe off the person who's asking you, then you know what? Then you say no. Right? This is really just all about us learning how to discern between when we're being spoiled and when things are really not in our highest good. And we're still here in a world of duality, so we really do need to be able to discern that. And the only way we're going to be able to discern it is if, instead of immediately saying no to opportunities, is if we stop and step back and I'm sorry. God, this is like, oh my God, you're always on time with what's on my mind or in my mind. I'm sorry. But it really is, we're here in these human bodies, and we know as infinite beings that, divine timing, I love it. And we know as infinite beings that, our soul can do whatever it wants and all that stuff. But until, I've said this before, until we learn how to create immortal human bodies, until our mindset is really in that space that our human bodies don't wear out, then we're dealing with a world of duality. And I don't care how spiritually evolved you are, you're still living in a world of duality. How you react to it is a whole other thing, but you still have to deal with it. And so for us on this path, it's what's my heart saying? What's my gut saying? What's my intuition saying? What's it really saying? My head's saying it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's not going to work. It doesn't make sense. But in here, I know there's something for me. It may not be fun. I may not love it, but I'm not in danger. And so I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. So let me just get back a little bit. Oh, okay. Sorry. No. I don't know why I ever have an agenda. It's never it's never my agenda. We're just throwing out some extra cards, and then I'll give you a quick reminder. Oh, I love this. Okay, and then I'll give you a quick reminder of what the energy is for the week. So this is really, 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 really cool. We have got gratitude. We have got new beginnings. And we have got clarity. Okay? I love that. So what they're talking about right now, yeah. I seriously love Periscope because I like having the interaction. This is separate than the week's reading. This is really specifically regarding what I'm talking about here with us. I love that phrase, spiritual spoiled brat. Hey, here I am, right? Get into that space of gratitude, okay? I know you hear about it all the time, and I know we're like, yes, 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 I'm grateful. It's all, you always talk about gratitude. Everything on the spiritual path is all about gratitude. I'm thankful. I'm serious. Yes, thank you already. You know? We kind of get sick of hearing about it. But, the other day, I know, exactly. But the other day, I don't know why, but I was driving someplace, and I really did. I was really just overcome with gratitude. I was overcome with the feelings of the blessings in my life, even the ones that don't always look like blessings. So do what you can to get present with the gratitude again. Again, we get so gratitude, yes, I'm sick of it, that we forget to get really, really present with it, even though we do have the gratitude, even though we really are grateful for the blessings in our life. But what I'm talking about is feel it. Get the energy in your body and just really, really, really feel the gratitude. We, going back to basics, we go back to the basics because at a different level, instead of just like running through the basics. We're going back to the basics, like as if we never learned it before. And then you're going to experience it completely differently than you ever did before, because you're not who you were. So, but that gratitude really does, especially with manifesting, it really does help to invite in more of the new beginnings, and so being grateful for, even the contract that's showing up that's giving you a little bit of, thinking and stuff like that. It's really cool. It's cool because it causes you to look at different stuff, and I know you know this already. But it does cause you to look at things differently. And the contract is an opportunity for a new beginning, right? And I'm just, picking on you right now, BMAC, because, you talked about it. But the more, yeah, exactly. It's just making you think. Awesome. Making you think, but I want you to feel. I want you to feel too, and this is everybody, because we all have everyday opportunities put in front of us. So I want you to feel, yes, dear, you're going to hear me in your head again. Feel into the gratitude. Just keep feeling it, and feeling it, okay? The new beginnings are definitely, they're definitely showing up. And I'll tell you what, it's more for the group of people who are actually going to see this video, the people who are online right now. It's specifically for you guys, okay? That these new beginnings are showing up in so many different ways. And really get your manifesting going. Get your manifesting going. Allow yourself to consider these opportunities that you said, no, I'm never doing that again. Because also that you're going in as a different person, you know. So you may not be as burnt out. You may not be as tired. You may have more confidence this time around. You may have more wisdom this time around. You may know what to look for so that you don't get screwed over this time around. Okay, so this is for everybody, and that clarity. You're gonna get your clarity. Okay. You're totally going to get your clarity. And just remember to keep asking for only the next step. We all want to know what it's going to look like, how it's going to get put together, all these little things. You got to remember, you and I are creating as we go. So we're creating whatever that future is. So whatever, we may have had an image in our mind when we were kids of what we wanted that future to look like. And it was based on who we were at the time. And now, you're not who you were last week. So just keep allowing the future to shift and to change and to keep getting created. The way you want to create it. Amen, exactly. You can course correct. You can totally course correct. Don't, the only time changing your mind is too much is when it keeps you stuck. Right? But if you're still moving, then you can change your mind. No, I don't like this. It didn't work out the way that I thought it was going to work out. Okay, fine. No problem. What can I do? How do I get out of it? What do I need to do? What was the learning? That's the big thing. What was the learning? Yeah, totally, goddess. People drop out of your life the more you evolve. The more you evolve on a spiritual level, the more you choose for yourself, the more you stop taking people's bullshit, the more they drop out of your life because they can't run over you and manipulate you the way they used to. The stronger you get, the more people are going to leave your life. And the more people, though, are that you're going to start seeing and bringing in. Like, personally, the more confidence that I've been having and the more that I've been doing, like, these periscopes and even allowing them to go long, like tonight is way longer than it should be, but I'm allowing the truth to get out there. I'm allowing the message to get out there. I've met a completely different level and I've started to interact regularly with a completely different level of businesswoman. Like people who, and I've said this before, people 8 figures. What? Really? What kind of mentality does that take? Seriously. And I would have never been able to do that. So you don't know how it's going to show up. Am I ever going to make 8 figures? Who knows? But to be meeting people with that mentality and to see also that they have the same fears and worries that we do, which is really cool. And I know, BMAC, you've run into that too. It's really cool, but you get to watch how they move through them and how they overcome it. And sometimes we do need a model. And sometimes it's like, oh, that's how you do it. Okay. And so we kind of follow that. And sometimes it's like, oh, wait, it can be overcome. Well, if she can overcome it, well, then I can overcome it. Cool. So that's what this is all about. This is the stage that we're at now. So let's all get off our spiritual high horse. Let's all stop being spiritual spoiled brats and only allowing things to show up in this one way, maybe these 2 ways. All right, 3. We're going to say that we're expansive. These 3 ways it can show up. Really? The universe is infinite. There's so much stuff out there we don't know. Even me, and I think I know everything. That's what I like to pretend, right? So, People, after this very, very, very long, long, long drawn out speech, again, me and my soapbox, the energy for the week coming up is, yeah, I know. I know you two. That's why we get along. The energy for the upcoming week is meditation, right? So, shut up, stop talking. Challenge for me, and get connected, right? Just shut up and get connected for a few minutes, even if it's while you're folding the friggin' laundry. Just, don't worry about what the kids are doing. Don't worry about what you're cooking for dinner. Just, if it comes in your head, move it aside, push it aside, next, see it as a moving train. They're just going, and it's not stopping at your stop. So those thoughts are just going like this. Phew, cool, God, gone. Allow those inspirations to show up during your meditations or after your meditations. They may not show up while you're meditating. The answer to your questions don't always show up while you're meditating. Nothing wrong with you if they don't. It's just the way it is. That's the other thing with all this spiritual stuff that we have been taught. Oh, when you sit down and you meditate, all your answers will come through. And then when they don't, we think we're doing something wrong. Seriously. Some of the teachings are more judgmental than the teachings that we learned before this. So creativity is where your challenge is going to be. Okay? Don't worry about it. That's because the inspiration, you're going to eventually get you're going to meditate, quiet the mind. The inspirations are going to show up eventually. And then the creativity is going to be like flatlined for a little while. No big deal, because you will become motivated. You will become motivated. And when that motivation hits, then the next step is going to show up, and the next step is going to show up, and the next step is going to show up. And no pulling away from creativity for 2 weeks straight, no. Find something new. Find something different to do. If you don't want to write, paint. If you don't want to paint, get the crayons out. If you don't want to get the crayons out, go plant some flowers. If you don't want to do that, sing, dance. Do something that doesn't get intellectualized. Do not put off your creativity. Seriously, you cannot do that. Yeah, ugh. Ugh. Cannot. So, I think that's it. I probably talked for like 6 hours, even though I expected to just do a really quick one. Yeah, walk on the beach. That's really cool. And the thing is, walk on the beach is more of the meditation. Okay, you still, and I know you get your hands dirty in the dirt and stuff, but also for you, that's a little more of a meditation, and yeah, so for you especially, you want to start touching some of your creative things. I know you've got a million different artistic talents, and you specifically, you get back into them a little bit. I know you do the music and all that kind of stuff. That's not creativity for you. For some people it is, but for you it's meditation. That's where you go to quiet, and that's where you go to calm. But, you need to get those creative juices flowing. There's no narrowing it down. You don't have to narrow anything down. Don't you love this? It's a one-sided conversation. I'm reading what she's saying. So digging in the dirt, narrowing it down, all that stuff. No, it's literally doing something more artistic for you specifically. Not for everybody else who's on here, just for Mind, Body, Soul. Get blah, blah. You're welcome. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, music and painting for you, Goddess. Absolutely. Breathe. I know. I'm just, I'm hyped up on my stuff. This is what happens. I get even more silly. So That's it. I'm ending this. I'm going to stop talking, guys. I gave you everything I think that you need to know. And if you need to know something else, you'll figure it out, I'm sure. Anyway, join us in Spiritual Perfectionist Anonymous on Facebook. You're very welcome. It's a free community where we all help each other to not be perfect, and we celebrate each other's celebrations and each other's imperfections. It's really a great, you're very welcome. It's a great place to be, and it's a very, very supportive place. So please look for us there. And I am Robin Link with this very, very, very weird and silly energy forecast for May 18th to what is it? I think May 24th. So I will see you guys next week. And that's it. I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great night.